Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to James's Snooker Nation. And in today's video we're going to be taking a look at why Jack Lisowski can still be a snooker great. So there's this big question sort of going around on Twitter, on social medias, and every time Jack Lisowski is interviewed he gets asked the same question: when is he going to win a ranking event? And hopefully in today's video we're going to be able to answer if he's A, going to win one in the near future, and B, how soon is it that he's going to win one? So let's start off with a little bit about Jack Lisowski. He is a left-handed attacking player, and a lot of professional and ex-professional players have said that his style is very much similar to that of Ronnie O'Sullivan's. I didn't realise, but Jack had suffered from Hodgkin lymphoma back in 2009, just before he turned professional, which was obviously a difficult thing for him to come through, and it's amazing that he has sort of came through that. And another article that I was reading, he sort of says that he suffers with migraines a lot of the time. So that's potentially why, you know, in certain situations his game isn't quite as consistent. But we're going to break that down a little bit more in the video. So yeah, he's 31 years old, which is, you know, getting on for a snooker player. He's got a lot of years left in the tank, but he still has never won a ranking event. So why hasn't he won a ranking event? Well, I think the first reason, to be honest with you, is that he lacks that killer instinct. You know, we know that people like Ronnie O'Sullivan, Stephen Henry, and so many other ex-winners of these multiple ranking events, they have this kind of killer instinct. They don't care about their opponent. They don't care what the scoreline is. They just want to win. And the second kind of thing that I wanted to point out is that he kind of lacks, and he kind of falls down against stronger opponents. And thanks to QTracker.net, we can kind of see here, you know, when he plays these kind of higher, you know, opponents in the top 8, top 16, we can kind of see how he does. So I mean, you know, you can see Ronnie O'Sullivan here. He's played him 4 times. He's never won. Neil Robertson, he's played him 13 times and only won twice. You know, John Higgins as well, only ever won 3 times out of 10. The same goes for Sean Murphy, 3 times out of 9. So all these kind of top players, and look here, I mean, only a 38% win ratio against Judd Trump, which, you know, in some respects is his nemesis. He's played Judd Trump so many times, and he's only got a 38% win ratio. So he really does struggle against those kind of more top players, which I think is one of the reasons why when he gets to kind of those later parts in the brackets of these kind of big ranking tournaments, he does seem to fall down. So he has reached actually 6 professional ranking event titles. He reached the Riga Masters and the China Open back in the 2018 and 2019 season, and was beaten by Neil Robertson in both occasions. He was also a finalist in the Scottish Open back in the 2019 and 2020 season, and lost to Mark Selby. And the 2020 to 2021 season, which we'll come on to a little bit later because that was a really good season for him, he made it to 3 ranking event titles: the World Grand Prix, the German Masters, and the ranking event Gibraltar Open, who he lost to Judd Trump on all 3 occasions, which I think is a little bit unlucky. But again, you know, we can only talk so much about luck when you're trying to win these huge tournaments. In terms of World Championship performances, his best kind of performance was the 2022 quarterfinals, where he slimly was knocked out by John Higgins 13-12. I mean, if he'd have won that match and got onto the semi-finals, who knows where that could have gone to. So let's just take a look at some kind of general stats here. Again, thanks to QTracker.net. And we can see that in ranking games only, he's played a total of 492 games. And he's got quite a good win percentage, 61% win percentage. So, you know, he's not doing too bad in that regard. I mean, I would say that's pretty respectable for a professional player. You know, we can see here 55% of kind of deciding frames he wins. So again, that's not bad, to be honest with you. But this was an important, actually, section that I was kind of looking at as well. It was match lengths played. Now, obviously, usually, the further that you go into tournaments, the longer the games become and the more frames that are played. And we can see here that he's played 5 best of 25s and only ever won 1 of them. The same goes for the best of 19s, which we do commonly see in quite a lot of the ranking event titles. He's got a 57% win ratio, so I wouldn't say that's terrible. And especially, it's the kind of stats that you'd expect to see from someone who might have won 1 or 2 ranking events. And then, yeah, again, you can kind of see these kind of mid games here, the best of 7s, best of 9s, best of 11s, sort of sitting in the mid 60%. So this explains really, and this really tells me a lot about how he plays in tournaments in general. He does well kind of, you know, at the start of a tournament, gets to maybe the quarterfinals, and then kind of falls down on these kind of longer, more drawn out matches against tougher opponents. Another thing that I wanted to point out and touch briefly on was his appointment with Peter Ebdon in 2021, which initially I think was a really good appointment. We saw him, obviously mentioned earlier, doing really well in the 2022 quarterfinal of the World Championships. But since then, he hasn't really done a lot. And there's a lot of people kind of speculating, you know, is Peter Ebdon the right guy for the job? Is he bringing out his best kind of game? You know, we know Jack Lisowski loves to attack. And that's his natural game. You know, obviously he needs to be trained up in the safety side of the game. But is the mentality there? Is Peter Ebdon the best guy for the job? I don't know. That is a question I'm going to leave for you guys. So make sure you leave your comments down below, and it'll be interesting to see what you guys think about that. So I asked some of you guys on Twitter the kind of same question that we're trying to answer today, really. Is Jack Lisowski ever going to win a ranking event? And let's take a look at some of the replies. React Official says that Jack is torn between playing his natural game and a taught tactical game. Also, Judd exists. So, yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, Judd is his nemesis, isn't he? Lindsay says that if you're good enough to win a ranking event, you'll win a ranking event. Simple. Yeah, I think there is some truth to that. I mean, you know, you've got to get yourself there in the first place. You've got to get to the final. So, yeah, potentially that it might just happen in the end. He's going to win a ranking event because he is a good player, and eventually he's going to win one. Consistency is pointed out by your crypto neighbor here on Twitter, and that's one thing that I haven't really touched on. But yeah, he's not consistent throughout tournaments, and like crypto here says, one game he plays world class and the next 3 he's average at best. So yeah, maybe consistency is lacking, and again, is that something to do with the kind of psychological mindset that needs to be you know, a bit more instilled into his play style? Addy D says that Jack's simply not hungry enough, looks to be happy with where he is at the moment, making lots of money, living the good life. Yeah, we sometimes see on his Instagram, he posts a lot of that kind of stuff, you know, kind of living the good life, if you like, on his Instagram. Is that the right thing to be doing? You know, if it suits him, then fair enough. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a sport, and, you know, you're there to win, really. So Kelvin Gray makes a good point that, you know, it's not a secret that safety game isn't great, which we touched on earlier. And, you know, sort of pair that with that ultra attacking game, which he does play, you know, probably more times than not. When he misses, yeah, he's going to get, you know, just destroyed by them heavy scoring players. So something that maybe needs to change in his game a little bit. And again, Peter Ebdon, I don't know if he's tried to kind of, you know, put this into him, but obviously it hasn't really worked out for him yet. Johnny Cash saying that he doesn't have a nasty streak. Some right-handed shot selections don't help, but he's beautiful to watch. He is beautiful to watch. He's got such a good natural game, and like we said at the start of the video, his kind of, you know, Q action does remind me a lot of Ronnie's. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. And the question that we need to answer at the end of this is he still a top player, and can he leave that kind of lasting legacy behind? Of course he can. He possesses that natural ability that we've all seen, we've all kind of known to grow and love. We love watching him. I love watching him. He's a fantastic player. But he needs to be trained to have that kind of more killer instinct by someone, maybe not Peter Ebdon, maybe he needs to change coach, bring some people around him that are going to show him how to win, and win without really having a care in the world about your opponent. And I think, to be honest with you, I mean, you know, Ronnie, when he used to kind of go all guns blazing, didn't have that safety game. Maybe that's something that Jack needs to look at. You know, he needs to kind of have a little look at his safety game, because if he can get his safety game right, he can win anything. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, comments. Will Jack Lisowski finally win a ranking event tournament? And when will he win it? So yeah, have your thoughts in the comments section down below. But apart from that, guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest videos that are coming out. And apart from that, I'll see you in the next one.